ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇನ್ನೇನು 1 or 2 days ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Now let's take a look at the new rates being imposed as fines for different degrees of violation. For residential buildings, if the violation is 25%, a fine of 6% of the market value will be levied, while for a violation of 25 to 50%, a fine of 8% of the market value will be levied. The government has also fixed fines for commercial buildings. For a violation of 12.5%, a fine of 20% of the market value would be imposed, and for a violation of 12.5% and more, a fine of 35% of the market value. Moving on to agricultural land, the government has also decided on the fines to be imposed on such buildings which have been built on it without conversion. For every 60 square meters that comes under BDA, a fine of 40 rupees will be levied, while if it is BBMP limits, it is 30 rupees, and for other bodies, it is 20 rupees. If the area is between 60 square meter and 120 square meter, it is 160 rupees for land that comes under BDA limits, 80 rupees for BBMP limits, and 50 rupees for other bodies. And for violation beyond this, that is more than 120 square meters, it is 600 rupees for land that comes under BDA, 250 rupees for land under BBMP limits, and 150 rupees for other bodies. By the way, these rates apply to those buildings that came into existence before October 19th, 2013. Now let's have a look at the positives of this scheme. Many citizens of the state complain that it is not an easy task getting B-Khata. Now with the implementation of the scheme, the procurement of B-Khata would be easier. Also, getting loans from banks would be much easier with this scheme. As many as 10 lakh people would stand to gain by it. And lastly, the government is expected to get a windfall of 32,000 crore rupees. But it is not that this scheme has only positives. Many wonder as to what will happen to violations of structures which go beyond 50%. Will the government go ahead and demolish such structures? Another point to be noted here is with the introduction of this scheme, will unauthorized layouts get a thumbs up? It is also speculated that builders will get to gain a lot. And lastly, with the implementation of this scheme, will it be giving a permission to create more chaos in the state? These are the questions that need answers. But has the government rushed to implement the scheme, keeping in mind the revenue aspect? Pramod for News9, Bengaluru.
Well, after facing the ire of Mandur residents over and over again, the Palake has now come under the scrutiny of the Lokayukta as well as Chief Secretary of the state.
Following the reports of loud protest and violence at Mandur surrounding the mounting issue of landfills, Upalokayukta Justice Majge visited the village to see for himself just how bad the situation was. It is safe to say that he was shocked by what he had come across. Today, Justice Majge held a meeting with the BBMP officials and the Commissioner to give them an opportunity to explain themselves. The Palake Commissioner stated that they have various plans across the city and in Mandur to manage the garbage. But a few representatives of Mandur who were present at the meeting along with freedom fighter Doraiswamy stated otherwise.
ಆ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಆಯುಕ್ತರು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಹಲವಾರು ದಾಖಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದರು. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಒಣತ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ಘಟಕಗಳು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ವಾರ್ಡ್ ವೈಸು, ಮಂಡೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನನ್ನ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಶುದ್ಧ ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ 5 or 10% ಸಹ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಂಡೂರು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಕಸದ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆನೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇರೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಹೊಸ ಕೆಲಸ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಹೊಸ ಕೆಲಸ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು, ಹಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Justice Majge seemed to have placed himself in the BBMP's shoes and even gave suggestions to fix the mounting garbage problem in the easiest possible way. The Palake seemed to have embraced it and has even agreed to cooperate with Upalokayukta's intention to personally inspect the progress.
He is very patient and he has suggested to me that in addition to the projects which we have taken up, we should also look at the option of bioremediation. That is, Mandur waste has to be removed from there, converting into organic material and transferred to outside place. That also should be a possibility we should explore. We are positive about it. BBMP is keen that we should take up this project on a top priority. I am sure that with all these initiatives, the pressure on Mandur will minimize to a great extent. I am working towards that.
ನಮ್ಮದೊಂದು ಹವ್ಯಾಸ ಅಂದ್ರಿ, ಚಟ ಅಂದ್ರಿ, ಹಠ ಅಂದ್ರಿ. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸೋ ತನಕ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂದಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಪ್ರತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಜಾರೋದಲ್ಲ. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮದು ಕೆಲವು ಇತಿಮಿತಿಗಳದ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
Meanwhile, Principal Secretary Kaushik Mukherjee too has expressed his strong disapproval of what BBMP has done to Mandur. He further added that the possible involvement of real estate mafia might be one of the reasons for the current state of the village. He has stated that BBMP will have to face the consequences if an evident improvement is not seen in their environment.
So there is no apathy, it is only a realization. See, problem is government works with, basically we do crisis management, but first we create a crisis. That's the problem. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ರೈಸಿಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಅವಾಗ ಇವು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅದು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮುಂದೆ ಕ್ರೈಸಿಸ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಶ್ವಾಸನೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇದು ನಾವು 6 ತಿಂಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾವು 4 ತಿಂಗಳೊಳಗೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಒಂದೇ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೀಳೋದು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕಾಲಮಿತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ಗೆ. ಅದು ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಟೈಮ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮಾಡದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು.
Well, apart from having to deal with the angry protest of the people of Mandur, BBMP seems to have earned the disapproval of Upalokayukta and the Principal Secretary with their erring ways. Will they be able to right their wrongs? Maltesh for News9, Bengaluru.
Moving on, the ever-beautiful Vidana Sauda and Vikas Sauda's beauty will be enhanced soon, thanks to a project worth 11 crore rupees that will get underway from tomorrow. Here's a report on exactly what the project is.
Vidana Sauda and Vikas Sauda define the beauty of Bengaluru. But get ready, folks, for something that is going to enhance their beauty. A statue of Mahatma Gandhi will soon take shape in between Vidana Sauda and Vikas Sauda. It is said that the vacant 200 square feet space between these two structures will be utilized for installing the masterpiece. But what is the speciality of this statue? The towering beauty that will be a reality in few months will be approximately 40 feet tall, which includes 27-foot high statue with 13 feet pedestal. The total weight of the bronze statue will be close to 24 tons. Meanwhile, the government will be spending 11 crores on this project. While 7 crores 25 lakhs has been set aside for the statue alone, 3 crore and 75 lakhs has been kept for miscellaneous works. It has also sanctioned land measuring to 200 square feet in between Vidana Sauda and Vikas Sauda. Wow, a 40-foot tall structure surely has the potential of becoming the center of attraction in Namma city. Even the Legislative Council chairperson D.H. Shankar Murthy, who heads the committee, has expressed his happiness over the state government's initiative. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah will lay the foundation stone at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Well, the government had undertaken this project in 2010. But the land that was earmarked for installation of the statue was under the jurisdiction of the Horticulture Department. So the government had to move the court to lay its hand on the property before deciding to move ahead with the said project. The government has given a deadline to the sculptors to make their masterpiece and install it on Mahatma Gandhi's birthday. But with just 3.5 months before Bapu's birthday, will the sculptors manage to meet the deadline? Sukesh for News9, Bengaluru.
Well, she had spoken of not entering into active politics on being appointed as the governor. But now, with her tenure coming to an end, Margaret Alva is ready to make a re-entry into active politics. Take a look.
Feb 21st, 2014. Margaret Alva rules out return to politics.
If I had to remain in active politics, I would not have become the governor of Rajasthan. I have grown old for active politics now.
June 5th, 2014. Margaret Alva to return to active politics. Yes, you heard that right. Just a little over 3 months, Margaret Alva has changed her mind. Now she feels young at heart and also plans to return to active politics after completing her tenure as the governor of Rajasthan.
ಇನ್ನು 3 ತಿಂಗಳಿದೆ ನನಗೆ. ನಂದು ಟರ್ಮ್ ಮುಗೀತದೆ ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Then I am coming back to Bangalore, my hometown. I am settling down here. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ ಬಾಯಿ ತೆರೆದು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Margaret Alva clearly stated that she would return to Bengaluru in the month of August this year. Meanwhile, she has also made a stance clear on the thermal power projects in the Western Ghats region.
ಆಗಲೇ ನಾನು ನೋ ಮೋರ್ ಪವರ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. 2 plants which had started had to close down and go. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಜಿಟೇಷನ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ತರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮಾತು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು, ಈಗ 5 ಇವೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಕೈಗಾ 6. ಇನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದೇ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ? ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೊಡಿ ನೀವು, ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ದೇ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಡ್ ನೋ ಮೋರ್ ಇನ್ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಕ್ಯಾನರಾ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಈಗ ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಘಾಟ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಅದೇ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. 158 ಮಿನಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ.
Well, Margaret Alva has made it crystal clear that she is no more old and is ready to jump into active politics all over again. But what about the Congress that is talking only about young blood? Will they encourage the young at heart as well? Anand Baidanamane for News9, Bengaluru.
Moving on, the Modi wave continues to show its effect as the Nifty and BSE Sensex closed at a record, surpassing the earlier record set on Tuesday. Optimism about revival of domestic economy continued as Nifty and BSE Sensex closed at a record high. The benchmark BSE Sensex closed at 25,019.51, surpassing the earlier record set on Tuesday. The Sensex reclaimed the 25,000 mark for the first time since May 26th. Following suit was Nifty, which shot up by 73.20 points to close at 7,475.45. Brokers opined that the positive change was due to the inflow of foreign funds and widespread buying by retail investors in the hope that the present government will take steps to revive domestic economy. The BSE Metal Index was the top gainer with a gain of 3.3%, followed by power, oil and gas, IT and FMCG indices, all of which went up by 1.5 to 2% each. With macroeconomic indicators looking positive, the markets are expected to gain further steam by 2015. While most of the broking firms estimated the BSE to cross the 40,000 mark in 18 to 24 months, the most optimistic estimate was given by Carvey Stockbroking, which said that the Sensex would hit the 1 lakh mark by 2020.
We see 2014 bringing a new bull cycle into existence. A strong export sector, revival in investment activity, continued recovery in the US and a stable euro area are significant positives for equity markets. With domestic macroeconomic data also on the mend, we are aggressive buyers of the Indian equity.
While the markets continue to experience what one might choose to call Modi wave, how quickly can the present government revive the investment cycle is what remains to be seen. A News9 report.